Now we go to our last heat for senior Rotax to see who will more than likely join Kai Hillets on the front row of the grid for the pre-final tomorrow. Here is your starting grid for race 17, senior Rotax, heat 6, groups B versus C. It's Sean Butcher and Devian Hurst on the front row. Montego Masson and Paul Forquemin on row 2. Austin Lee and Matis Turlo, row 3. Miska Kaskinen and Elia Papasena, row 4. Lewis Gilbert and Maxence Bouvier, they complete the top 10. Followed by Vic Stevens, Daniel Halsworth, Nolan Emery, Kai Hunter, Lotus Tveen, James Swindells, Zach Scowler, William Christensen, Scott Westhovens, and Patrick Donica rounding out the top 20. Lachlan Robinson, Ilias Kaliakmanis, Magic Chimera, and Puck Gubbles round out the 24 strong that will go into battle over the next 10 minutes, plus an additional lap. Drivers now weaving from side to side. There is plenty of ambient air temperature to try and get. Into those tyres. There's plenty of ambient air temperature, but the drivers sometimes will do that to steel themselves psychologically and gear up and get ready to go racing. For the final time, it's the 6th and final senior Rotax heat. Sean Butcher on pole, Devian Ross alongside. Into the tram lines. Are we ready? Are we steady? We are lights out for the final senior Rotax heat. Devian Ross keeps it pinned round the outside. Will he keep second position by turn number 3? He does not. He drops to 4th. Or has he? Or has he kept second? Going through out of turn. Oh, Magic Chimera. His race has not really gone very well. He's put a little bit of dust on and some stones onto the circuit, a little bit of gravel. As the drivers make their way through, I stand corrected. Devian Ross might have actually made it into either 2nd or 5th. Drama for one of the KR Sport cars, I think, coming through into turn 9. But Sean Butcher is leading. Forquemin, I've just spotted, is in 4th. Out of the final right-hander, they'll go now, putting the throttle down right to the full extension of the throttle cable. So Sean Butcher leads. It is Devian Horst in 2nd, Montego Masson. Austin Lee now up ahead of Paul Forquemin for 4th place. Lewis Gilbert and Miska Kaskinen now 6th and 7th ahead of Matis Turlo, who's dropped to 8th. Now already just keeping an eye on what's been happening. Lachlan Robinson up to 19th. He might have made a couple more places as the driver now based out of Abu Dhabi. He looks to be around about 6th, might be about 17th, 18th position possibly. But Butcher has got Devian Ross closing in on him very, very quickly indeed. Montego Masson making it a 3-way scrap for the race lead. 3.5 tenths of a second separating the trio as they go around the final right-hander. A little bit further back, there's a little bit of juxtaposing for position. And that is the 3.85. Miska Kaskinen losing at least 4 places coming through the final right-hander. And now some attempted moves. A very, very good one. But well, I think there's just been a gesticulation. And that young whippersnapper, that was Vic Stevens, I believe, getting through on Kai Hunter. Yes, it was. And Kai Hunter just said, don't look at me, look forward. Get going. Let's push. That's the universal language of, come on, get your skates on. Well, words to that effect. But there is some juxtaposing for positioning. Elia Papacena currently 10th at the moment, as he's behind Matis Turlo. He might have gotten ahead, I think. Not 100% sure. No, he's behind him at the moment as they come through into the penultimate right-hander at this 1.388 kilometre circuit. Sean Butcher still leads. Devian Horst now trying to battle away with Montego Massen. The 394 from Kauf Motorsport representing Germany is within a tenth and a bit. Right, fastest lap of the race is the Pride of Scotland. Currently 5th place, Lewis Gilbert. He's now trying to close in on Austin Lee. He went about just over half a tenth quicker than the 379 from Strawberry Racing, who rounds out the top 4. Butcher looks to be starting to stretch an advantage at the moment. Gap between him and Devian Ross was just over 0.38 of a second. And Austin Lee has really reeled in the 2 in front. He's got an opportunity to finish the day on a high with a top 3 finish. Might not be the race victory. However, never say never with 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go, plus an additional lap. So top 4 covered by 1.1 seconds. Hold the phone. Elia Papacena has just put in a 55.861 second lap time. He's really, really close to, he's less than a tenth behind. And now he's going to go up the inside of Matis Turlo. Elia Papacena now moves up into 9th position. Great work by the 304 from MKC Motorsport. Zach Scowler's day has come to an abrupt end. And there's dramas. Dramas out of turn number 7. That's the 906. And that is also Daniel Houseworth clutching his left arm. Yellow flags at turn number 7. I hope Daniel's all right. Maxence Bouvier might have gone over the left side of the Austrian's chassis, and not only that, but also his body. Or it could be the other way around, that they clattered into each other. But Maxence Bouvier, I have seen it before where he's been a bit more than robust. Halfway completed in this final senior Rotax heat. So that is going to be Houseworth out. Maxence Bouvier out. Good thing that Daniel was in a slight bit of discomfort. Obviously, he's going to be medically checked after that. I think might be the routine bit of caution for the Austrian in the 396, but that's a real shame for Daniel Houseworth. He's moved to KR Sport and he's really enjoying the experience, but the race results as of yet are not coming his way. That'll bring us down to 21 drivers rounded out by Denmark's Lotus Tveen. Sean Butcher now has a lead and he's just got the fastest lap. Careful Vic Stevens, you nearly lost it through turn 1, and there's a touch from Kai Hunter. And it looks like the right rear bumper might be loose on Vic Stevens' kart. That was very, very close indeed. I thought that Vic Stevens' bumper on the right rear might be flailing. If he starts flailing, he's going to get a mechanical black flag. Yellow flags into turn 7. Dearie me. That was heart in the mouth stuff there for Vic Stevens. This, again, I did say this about desperation. It is creeping in with those that have been on the fringes of the top 30 and know that if they do not score valuable points, as in the less they score, the higher up the ranking they'll be. Risk versus reward. Do you or do you not go for the risk to get that reward? Sometimes on heats day, it's not necessarily worth it. On finals day, everyone is fired up 125%. Coming up to the final 3 minutes, up the inside, that is on Montego Massen. That's shades of RNC Germany all over again between him and Austin Lee, but Lewis Gilbert gets the opportunity he needed through on Austin Lee coming out of turn 7 into turn 8. And Lewis Gilbert makes it through to 4th position. Could the Pride of Scotland get a top 3 by the end of the day? here at Marienburg at Karting de Fang. We've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. I think the drama still might be inbound, folks. But with 2 minutes and 23 seconds, well, Sean Butcher has just again put in another fastest lap, 5/1000ths quicker than the driver in second, Devian Horst from the Netherlands, the 3:45. So Butcher leads from Horst. It's Marson in third, Gilbert in fourth, Lee in fifth, Papasena, Stevens, Hunter, Forquemin, and Turlo rounding out the top 10. Miska Kaskin in the meantime has got past Greece's Ilias Kaliakmanis. As oh no, that is the 3:30. It's not been a good one for Lotus Tveen this weekend. She rejoins the track from the outskirts of turn number 7. Butcher still has a slightly comfortable lead, 4.29 tenths of a second. Seems to stabilise in the latter few moments of this race. Puck Gubbles has just lost out to Miska Kaskinen, but Austin Lee decides to return the favour to Lewis Gilbert to retake fourth position coming out of turn number 4. Gilbert now sweeps to the outside through turn 7 to try and get the undercut. They both bump over the curbs through into turn 8, now into 9. Into the left-hander here at 10. And then 3 right-handers. Turn 11, 12, 13, and then the slight uphill chicane, turn 14, because effectively it's one corner. Montego Marson, in the meantime, has just put in the fastest lap, not on lap 10, but on lap 9 at 55.155. But Sean Butcher's lead has now been slightly diminished to 0.3 of a second. So 17 seconds on the timer remains. We will go on to one more lap after this. So we are currently on lap number 11 out of 12. And Sean Butcher is making good his intentions to keep himself at the sharper end of the grid. Most notably the fact that Kai Villatz has had 3 wins today. He wants to pick up 2 wins. That will effectively put him at the sharp end, at the front row of the grid for tomorrow's pre-final at 12:10. 1 lap to go. Butcher takes a look over his right shoulder, sees that Devian Horst is there, but the gap has just expanded to over 0.34 of a second, going on to this 12th and final lap. Unfortunately, out on lap 5, Daniel Hausworth and Maxence Bouvier. Zach Scowler out on lap 3. He's going to have to make a fight back through the second chance heat tomorrow morning. Austin Lee starting to try and pull away from Lewis Gilbert. The gap between them just over nearly 4.5 tenths of a second. But it comes down to one set of corners coming up right now. 3 to go, including this one. Turn 12. Now turn 13 coming up. And 1 more remains. And Sean Butcher puts himself into the firing line of one Kai Rilletz tomorrow at the pre-final with 2 victories. Devian Horst in second, Montego Marson, Austin Lee and Lewis Gilbert round out the top 5 as the rest of the field make their way again across the start-finish line and are greeted by the checkered flag. So Sean Butcher wins the race by 0.268 seconds ahead of Devian Horst, with Montego Marson, Austin Lee, Lewis Gilbert, Elia Papasena, Vic Stevens, Kai Hunter, Paul Forquemin and Matisse Turlo rounding out the top 10. 21 drivers finished in all, with Nolan Emery 11th, ahead of Patrick Donica, William Christensen. There are a few penalties coming in for post-race issues on, post-race penalties. So we have William Christensen, James Swindells, Magic Chimera running out the top 15. Scott Westhovens, Lachlan Robinson got up towards the top 10 but dropped down to 17th at the end. Miska Kaskinen, Puck Gubbles, Ilias Kalikmanis and Lotus Tveen rounded out the finishing order with all 21 drivers covered by 23 seconds. Daniel Hausworth and Maxence Bouvier out on lap 5 and Zach Scowler out on lap number 3.